Hello, welcome. This is the first open forum for the year of 2023. I'm so happy you guys are here. These are always really fun. They're very casual. It's a great way for doulas and birth workers to come together. There are going to be a few more people coming in, but I'm going to get started. We are going to have replay access, so this will be sent out through email so you guys can rewatch it. Everyone who's watching replay, hey, it's good to have you guys here. And okay, the way these go, it's really a community collaborative event. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to give a prompt or two, a question, and we are going to discuss it. And then if anyone has ideas or solutions that they've done before in their business that is going to be super helpful to contribute to the conversation, you just come off mute and you talk and you share and you support and help doulas. Like usually in these open forums, we have a range of experience. We have brand new doulas just starting out, doulas who have just finished their training, doulas who have been in the game for like 7 to 10 years. And so it's so nourishing to be able to get experience and also learn new things that we may have never even thought of before because we're able to have those conversations back and forth. So that's kind of how we're going to do this and the flow of it. What else? Oh, a little bit about me. Hi, I'm Melissa Fernandez. I am a retired Cirque du Soleil acrobat turned postpartum doula. I'm in the Atlanta area. And I work with moms as postpartum doulas. I also do prenatal work, and I also do childbirth education classes with my my team that I have. And I'm also a business mentor. I'm also an energetic practitioner, and I used the expansion principle modality and energy inside of my practice. And I use that in my business and also with all of my clients, whether you are a doula client or a mom client, I'm using that in both spaces. So that's just a little bit about me. I have a lot of resources for doulas and birth workers in terms of business, passive income, and creating classes online. I have a lot of stuff on that. So you can dig into that on my website and everything. But for today, I would love to hear where you guys are at, like your location. And if you want to drop your social media handle, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or your website, somewhere where we can connect, you can put that in the chat just so that we can all be connected and enjoying everyone's networks. I think that's always fun. And that being said, let's get started with our prompt. So one question I wanted to ask you guys today is, what are you currently experiencing that you could use some community support or guidance around? And it can be anything at all. And if you have something, just feel free to come off mute and start the conversation.
Hi, I'm Amy. I am here with a fellow doula. We're in the Central Valley of California. We're both in Turlock, which is between, for those of you who don't know, Sacramento and Fresno. Those are two bigger cities. So we're kind of in the middle there in Central Valley. Smaller towns and our cities like 70 something thousand. So we both started our businesses about the same time early this year, and we're taking clients, and Stephanie is starting childbirth education classes. And exciting for us, yesterday actually, our local newspaper did an article on doulas and featured us. So that was very exciting. But in answer to your question, that exactly speaks to what we would love more of, is community members, businesses, entities outside of us knowing about us and supporting us. It's getting the word out there. More people know what a doula is when I speak to them than I expected. And still there's a lot of people who don't know what a doula is. But yeah, just getting the word out there and getting other parts of the community to know who we are and that we're here. It's just part of us building our very new businesses. And so we've been buddying up together for networking and advertising and marketing, doing events has been really helpful. But we have a ways to go to make sure that everybody knows we're here, because we're filling in a gap. Most of our clients here have to go an hour to 2 hours away for a doula. And so we really want our community to know that at least 2 of us are here in this town now. So yeah, just having other entities and other businesses and other people know what we are and that we're here, it would be helpful. So we've sort of been hanging out with the Chamber of Commerce groups and meeting other non-birth worker business owners to just network, because every person we talk to knows somebody who knows somebody. So we're just really buckshotting the whole thing. But more of that's necessary, you know, we need everyone to know.
Yep. Are you guys like working together as one business, or is it separate?
We have separate businesses, but we do, you know, go and do things together to support each other. Like, we recognize, you know, that we're really the only 2 ones in town. And, you know, we kind of offer different flavors. So, you know, if I'm not a good fit for somebody, then she might be, and, you know, vice versa. So, you know, we really try to support each other through it, right? That's what a lot of birth workers should be doing, is, you know, supporting the other ones around. So that's what we were trying to.
It's the whole work smarter, not harder. We both started
yeah.
about the same time and had all the same steps and actions to take. So we said, well, let's not be out there hitting up a business or a professional or doing something and then have the next person walk in the next day. We didn't want to confuse people or look like we were in competition with each other.
Yeah.
So we do those kinds of public things together, and we say, I'm this company, she's that company. Most doulas are independently employed, and but we support each other and the birth worker industry in a way that we're sharing the information. Hey, check us both out. Check out any doula you want. We'll give you more names, because I'm me, she's her, and we're a community. So you choose what fits you. And we kind of go about it like that.
I think it's so beautiful that you guys are working collaboratively together, because at the end of the day, we all have the same goal in mind, and we're supporting families through the transition of pregnancy, postpartum, and parenthood sometimes. So I think it's a great idea that you're connecting. You guys talked about, you're doing a lot of networking and marketing. You're doing amazing. I'd love to ask everyone else in the room, what are some, well, first I want to ask you, what have been some of your most effective things that you've done and that you've seen results from?
First event.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a local community garden here that had a Mother's Day event, and we had a booth there, and I know we both got some interest there.
We both got interviews off of that. And you got a client. Mine declined at that time. But yeah, I think definitely getting our face out to community events. Like, we go out to the farmers market. We did the community event there, and we have another one coming up that specifically is going to be our local moms group. There's a moms Facebook group for our community, which we've joined all of our moms groups in our city and surrounding cities. And so this will be our first time at the moms group event. They do like an annual beginning of their membership year membership drive. So we jumped on that right away. We want a booth at your membership drive, because we've already put our names in the groups conversations, right? And so now they'll see our faces at their actual moms group event. So and I'm thinking about joining the moms group walking club, and you know, just trying to physically put our faces and personalities in front of human beings. You know, that face to face, that get to know me kind of stuff.
Yep. I think that's, I mean, you guys are doing a great job. And would anyone else want to contribute like their thoughts just around this? Most birth workers and doulas in business get to this point where you do have to network a lot and market quite a bit in order to be visible and to position yourself as someone who's available for pregnant and postpartum families. So what have been some other effective networking and marketing tips and things that you guys have done that have also been have either landed you clients or simply started conversations with pregnant women?
I'll just introduce myself. I'm Valerie. I live in the Lexington, Boston, Massachusetts area. And so I just started doula as a well, actually even still brainstorming on how I'm going to be establishing my business and what do I want to get into. So my history is, biology background and walking, moving from a pharmaceutical biotech industry. But I did live out in California, and there was, I raised my own kids out that way in the Bay Area. So a lot of more like holistic, nutritional things that are beneficial to myself when I was going through, pregnancy and early stages postpartum, but then also my children had allergies and like things where I'm just trying to see where I will incorporate things. And so I did the postpartum. I'm in the process of getting certification for postpartum doula through DONA. And the summer was a little bit stalled because I have 2 older children. My daughter went off to college this week and my son started high school. So I just am jumping on really to like get my head back on into like, and I haven't wanted to put myself out there too much because of getting things settled with the family so that I can really, get going when I do decide to jump in. So I don't know how much I can really be adding from like the perspective of established doula worker here, but definitely have like more just life experience and, like even with birthing doula, like my son was a home birth and I was at multiple friends, like more supporting in that capacity from friend to friend. So not really as a business model.
Anybody want to add to that?
I just want to say that's probably where we were a couple months ago, really, So this is almost like your next step. Yeah, is getting yourself out there and knowing where to go to find people because it's
well, and I see there's Krista Mateus was the DONA trainer. And so she has a website for doulas that she's trained and they're all over the place. So that is, and that's on Facebook. So I'm connected in there and I'm connected in with like doulas of Massachusetts, which is where I found, or actually this one was Postpartum Doula Facebook page. Okay. So there's so much information, to be honest. I feel like there's just so much information. It's more defining how I want to contribute and how much time I have to contribute. And then going, because I mean, on the Facebook pages, I see lots of people posting about needing, they can't serve. So I love that it's not like it doesn't appear to be this competitive industry. It's a supportive, building each other up industry.
Yeah. We love that too. It's really important to us.
Yeah, I think that's a good characteristic of the community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The real question is like, where do you effectively invest your time? Looking for clients and stuff, because I mean, I've posted on Facebook, groups, right, they have like Marketing Monday, post in here on Mondays, and people like, I haven't gotten anything from any of that.
Yeah.
So it's like and maybe, sometimes with the Facebook algorithms, maybe just, the right people aren't seeing it, or, maybe, it's maybe on Mondays, everybody just kind of skips the whole group in general because they know it's full of businesses marketing, but, like it only takes one person to see it. And then, then you've had a client from it, but it's just waiting to find that person. And
well, yeah, one thing I'm noticing, like just around town and, at like, because I've been doing, reading at the library and checking out coffee shops and chiropractors and massage, you know, and I'm seeing,
Yeah.
I feel like everybody, there are just so many pregnant people. Do you mean, so I'm not super concerned, like and it's a very populated area here in the Boston area. So it's more, again, a matter of like life skills and how am I going to position myself, you know, to go out there.
Yeah, you know, that's another reason why we're really good as a team, and we're glad we found each other to hold each other accountable for the business building part, and to go through things and learn things that one of us might have missed or the other person didn't understand, and kind of go through those together. But we had very different personalities and different styles. So I'm the goofball who will approach anybody, anywhere, anytime, and hand out my card. And my family, my friends, sometimes Stephanie even will go, "What? Doing, stop it." And I'm like, I don't care, I want to meet people.
She's the extrovert of the
And my
two.
family says, why are you approaching that older person? Why are you approaching that man? Why are you not just handing your cards out or your giveaway items? Because I would give away fans all summer long because it gets really hot here. And they'd say, why are you approaching those people? And I said, because everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. If I just approach pregnant people, it's sometimes too late. I mean, you really have to convince a pregnant person who's already 36 weeks that they need to stop everything else they're doing and reach out to you and get to know you and hire you. So I'm literally working my entire community. Every person I talk to is a potential contact. We went to a chamber mixer the other day and met a man who just opened a senior assisted living property in our community and was about to have his ribbon cutting. Great. Turns out his daughter's a doula in San Francisco. Okay, why he's the first person we spoke to at that event, and he just happened to have a daughter who's a doula. How does that happen? So I go to the ribbon cutting. Stephanie was unavailable. We try to do those things together.
Yeah.
I go to the ribbon cutting. I just happened to sit down next to his daughter. 20 minutes later, we're best friends, and she's telling me she's moving back to our area next year, and we have a new connection. So we have a new connection in the Bay Area, which will really help us grow and learn. But then she's coming back to our area, and we'll have built a relationship with her. There is no one I talk to that's not important to me.
If you're not an extrovert yourself, find somebody with big extrovert energy, because
that's why we work well together, because she's really good at the social media, the emails, the education, the classes. And I'm like, I just want to get out there and meet people. I just want to nurture. And so we balance each other, but it helps her business and it helps my business.
Yeah, it does.
She's the one who got the newspaper to consider an article, and I'm the one who made that contact over there. It was just like, you know?
Yeah. You have big extrovert energy.
I'm the one who's out there.
She is. But you know, it was actually perfect when we had that table at that Mother's Day event. Across from us, there was a person doing balloon animals. And so the whole line of everybody waiting for the balloon animals was going in front of us. So she was out there working the line and chatting people up and talking to people and bouncing little kids on her birth ball. And then, you know, then she was pointing us out. And so then, you know, the people, you know, that would come, then, you know, then I could talk to them and we could kind of, you know, make that connection that way. So like she roped him in, and then I
yeah. So the bottom line is, if you can meet other doulas in your area, not only do we all have to have at least one backup, right? So we're immediately each other's backup, but then we network with other area doulas to get a second backup, or, you know, a potential this or that. And we go to doula meetups that are maybe an hour away, because we don't know anybody if we're new. So we went to one way out, like 45 minutes from us. And then we went to another one, 30, 40, 50 minutes from us. And people are like, oh, wow, thank you for driving so far. And we're like, oh, wow, thank you for inviting us. Because then we connect even with those people who refer people down to our area, or we refer people up to their area. And we're surprised at how much crossover there is, even in an hour almost away. So it goes back to my theory of no human contact is not important, because we get something out of almost every contact that we make.
You understand their experience and their knowledge, and
Yeah, because we agreed early on when we buddied up for business purposes that we would try everything once. Our first year was going to be go to this, sign up for that, meet this, pop into that. And if it didn't do us any good or wasn't the right fit, then we don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
But let's do it all. And then next year, when those same events or things come around on the calendar, we can decide, yeah, that was good, that was not good. Ooh, that got us clients, that didn't. So that's kind of the agreement we've made so far as well, which has been helpful so far.
Yeah.
You know, one
So
thing,
meet other doulas, get a buddy.
yeah, you know, one thing you're bringing up about trying and experiencing is that in those first couple years of business, especially when you're just in your doula certification training, you're in this space of like, I'm not really sure, I don't have the crystal clear clarity of what I'm going to provide, and also you're wanting it to work with your family schedule, especially if you've got kids. That's a high priority. And so this is where trying things out, experiencing things one time is going to be really valuable in the beginning. And it's almost, it's part of entrepreneurship. You have to learn what is going to fit and what will not. And there is that trial and lesson that appears in the very beginning until you find the foundation of like, okay, I know that this works really well for my schedule with my family life, and this does not. And this is how I'm going to run my doula business at this time. And it's going to be ever evolving. It's always going to shift. And the other pieces that you guys are talking about, all the marketing and networking and finding someone who you connect with to share the load is absolutely key. But sometimes you're not always able, you're not in the position, or there's not someone around you that fits that. And it may take time, and you just keep putting yourself out there. Like they always say that, but it takes a lot of vulnerability to share yourself in that way. And that can be really tough at times, especially if you're in a state of, I'm not really sure how this is going to go and where I fit in. We don't know unless we start to take action. We don't know where we fit in unless we're taking steps. Even if they're small steps, we take them and then we get more clarity as we do that.
For sure.
Anyone else want to add to the conversation?
Hey, everybody. Debating whether or not to speak up. My name is Lynn. I'm not a doula, I'm a midwife. And I have 4 kids, and I'm in love with Melissa. And here's something that I do. I'm not with my own business, but I work in a practice right now full time. And I love making connections with doulas so that I can recommend y'all to patients who want you. I mean, I see 20 patients a day in front of me who are pregnant, you know, and when they're asking me questions about birth and, you know, I want to have an unmedicated birth, I want to have a water birth, fantastic. Who's your doula? You know, because I'm in charge of the whole floor when I'm there. So I can't hold your hand most likely through the whole labor process. You need someone to support you through that process. And I am then able to educate women and families on the importance of doula support. So I do think it's important for you to reach out if you have a supportive birth community around you. And even if you don't, like, see if you can get your foot in the door with some of the providers in your area. You know, I know there are some home birth midwives even in our area, and concierge midwives who work with specific doulas, and they have contracts and they use those same people all the time, and they work as, you know, a team. And so if this home birth midwife is having a baby, this doula is coming along, you know, and they have backups and things like that. But I definitely have several doula connections in the community, and you know, some of them I think will fit better with this person. And so I'm like, here, take these cards, and other ones might work better with somebody else. So, you know, just a thought. It's definitely something that I do frequently, where I'm recommending people. And also talking to patients who already have doulas, like, do you like this person? You know, and then I reach out and try to find them on social media and things like that so that I can make a connection there too. So anyway, you know, see if you can make some friends with midwives and maybe doctors too, but definitely midwives in the area, because that may be really beneficial. If you know you make a good connection, they can just recommend you all the time over and over again, and it ends up being really like a nice symbiotic relationship, because then you have a good working relationship in the room too during the birth, which is really important, and you're not bringing like feisty energy in, you know, not that any of us have feisty energy, but you know, just bringing that calming energy, like, oh, we know each other, this is great, we're gonna have a baby together today, I'm so excited, you know. We get to work together, not, you know, kind of having this conflicting energy. So that's my 2 cents. And anyway, if you have any questions that are related to midwifery, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just listening in, and y'all are amazing, and I'm gonna be quiet now. Okay, bye.
I do have a quick question in regards to birth doula, postpartum doula, and reaching out to like that connection with like a midwife or doctors, because that's the big thing is like after the birth, it's like, here's baby, go home. And then the parents are like, oh. So like a birthing center, or are there other recommendations of birth working, or, you know, people to connect with for that postpartum piece of it?
I mean, that's definitely a huge gap. I mean, we all know that, you know, it's very blatantly obvious. It's something that Melissa and I are working on trying to fill in our community. And yeah, I think that postpartum doula work is still like, not a lot of people know about it, unfortunately, you know, and it's that missing piece where we don't have the family groups in the village that we used to have around us. And so postpartum doulas are thankfully coming up and trying to like fill that gap. Sorry, there's a motorcycle. They're trying to kind of fill that gap. And I do think it's important for you to get that information out, because I think it's possible that there are, especially doctors, who don't even know that that exists. So, you know, reaching out and trying to kind of educate providers about, I mean, even like pelvic floor PTs and stuff reach out and they're like, can we come and like have a meeting with y'all and just educate you so that you can tell patients about us? And that's really important. I also had a doula tell me recently that a lot of doula practices or doula businesses or doulas in general don't do a lot of postpartum care. I kind of feel like when you have a labor doula that I don't worry about you as much postpartum, but I know when I hired one for my second birth, she came to my house one time postpartum, and like that was better than nothing, but it was still only one time, which is still insufficient. So I don't know if that answered your question, but I do think that even when people have a labor doula, they still potentially need a postpartum doula. And so I think for people who are postpartum doulas, especially, like making that connection with labor doulas would be great, because you guys can like team up. Like, I'm going to handle her childbirth education and her labor and her birth. And if you could do the postpartum and the breastfeeding, like that would be amazing. And then you guys can work as a team and everybody's not exhausted and overworked.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at, where it's like, I don't know if I want to be like paving the path and doing my own independent thing, or if I want, there are various businesses, you know what I mean? And birthing centers or places where I'm like, okay, or, you know, doula practices that are might be, it's weighing it out, you know, and, you know, like Melissa said, try and see, just gathering information for what works or doesn't at this point. So thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's baby steps, right? I mean, I know that there are a lot of doulas, doula like businesses down here in Georgia and like the birth center and places like that. You're frequently seeing like, we need more postpartum doulas. We need more postpartum doulas. So I know that there are definitely opportunities. You know, I don't know much about Boston. I used to live in Connecticut, but I know that there is need everywhere. And it may just take you kind of like, not really knocking on doors, but like knocking on social media doors and networking and making connections and saying, hey, this is what I do. You know, do you think that you have need for it? Because a lot of people who are labor doulas don't really want to do the postpartum doula part, or at least not like as much as what moms need, because they can't be on call for labor support and committed to, you know, the postpartum work with someone for a long period of time. So I do think that there are doula practices that are looking for people to kind of fill that need.
I think that's one of the reasons why Stephanie and I are both birth and postpartum doulas. We certified in both immediately. And because we think, I think we agree on this, that it's natural if you get a pregnant person and you get a relationship and you sell both sides of that coin at the same time. That I personally said to myself when I was making my own decision to do this, oh, I want postpartum immediately. If you have a great labor and birth experience with a doula, aren't you naturally going to want to keep them around when they tell you what they can do for you, or they come in after the birth and show you what they can do for you at home? It just felt like, who wouldn't naturally want to progress into that? Not that they always would, but who wouldn't be tempted to once they saw that it existed? And so we both immediately chose to certify in both. And when I approach or interview with a client, I tie the two together in my conversations, and I go over both subjects. And a lot of doulas in our area do include postpartum hours in their packages, some more than others. Some are doing up to 2 or 3 visits postpartumly and calling it part of their birth package. Yeah. I choose to not necessarily at this point in time include postpartum work. I'm still a little unclear, and Melissa, maybe you can help us with this, a little unclear on how I navigate 2 clear contracts for 2 different types of service and encourage them to go from one to the other. I'm learning how to do that with my clients. Like, postpartum is this, and let's go into that. There's a separate contract for that. And, so melding the two, easing them into, and actually getting them to contract for the second thing. I'm trying to learn how to do that well.
I think at your first postpartum one, right? The one that would be connected to your doula. Then talking about like, hey, here's the contract for long-term.
Yeah, I introduced the contract and all the subject matter early on, and then, revisit that as it comes up with them during our time together. And some choose to sign, but most of the people I've talked to so far have said, okay, I'll consider that. But I just want to be careful business-wise to make sure I do have a postpartum contract signed before I really kick into true postpartum care. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Melissa, could you address that?
It's always helpful to have a contract if you're going to be doing a service where it's separate like that, where it's doula and then also postpartum. I would suggest having a contract for sure. I have one that's available. I'm going to link this at the end. I think that can be helpful. Are you asking specifically about how you get them to pay you for a postpartum session? Like in the inquiry process, kind of?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily expect them to, it's a lot of information. We spend hours and hours with our clients walking them through that signing process and what we're going to do for them. But I want to know, how can I be more successful at getting them to sorry, I'm having trouble articulating myself. So if I offer follow-up or even a few postpartum hours beyond my closing session as a birth doula, and they see that, my hope is that they're going, this is great, I want you more. And then I say, that's great. Maybe it's time that you go ahead and contract me for so many hours. Remember, we talked about how I'm going to do this, but then if you want more, the continuation of postpartum care would be an hourly rate and a separate contract. That's how I go about it now. And then if they say, oh my gosh, this is great, I want more, I say, okay, well then let's talk about hours and schedule and write up a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My suggestion is to do it all at the very beginning. So when they are hiring you out for labor support, that's going to be a great, you're planting a seed and you're like, this is what, could happen. We could also do postpartum support. I would incentivize them with something that's really like either an incredible price or something that is really nourishing for them and supportive for them in order to add it on to their labor doula package. That's going to be one really easy way to, and make it, it's really clear and it's simple for you. And then you don't have to get into that space of, oh, how do I sell them and try to get them? No, you do it right at the beginning. So you package it up, you position it really deliciously. Like if they get your labor doula package, you can get $400 off of my postpartum support package. Like bundle it up real nice. That's that's the easiest way. The other way is if they just did the labor support, they get like the 1 or 2 sessions, they realize how amazing it is. Because yes, that's a great technique. That's a great strategy. That's where you have to, it sounds terrible, but you're putting on your sales hat. We're in business. This is business, right? It's also caregiving and like very sensitive work that we're doing. It's very intimate. So that's where it kind of feels tricky because you're doing business, but it's intimate work and you want to make it feel right and out of integrity for them. That's where you have to check in with yourself and make sure that you're feeling, I know this is the highest service and highest good of what I'm doing and what I'm providing. And you make it really simple and easy. It's like, how would you like more support? You ask them the question, would you like some more? I can't talk today, guys. I already told Lynn this today. Would you like more support? I have 2 more weeks available for postpartum. Would you like some more? And they'll just say yes or no. And that's it. And then if they say yes, you're like, great, I'll send you the contract and the invoice and we can get started tomorrow.
I feel like I'm 99% there. I just need to be a little smoother at it. So I'm working on it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And then I wanted to share with you guys too, before we wrap up, this has been an awesome conversation and thank you guys for contributing and discussing. These are always really, really amazing. Okay. So what Lynn and Valerie and Stephanie, and Amy, what you guys are sharing, this is a bit like the postpartum support, right? There's going to be a huge space of education that's going to be required for many, many years to come about the importance of postpartum. And so we do have to educate a lot still. At some point, postpartum doula support is going to be as big as doula support. It's going to be there, but we still have to provide education. We still have to talk about it. That's going to be one of the things we do. Then the other thing that Lynn was talking about is to connect with a busy birth worker who's doing labor births, because you're right, Lynn, most of them don't want to do postpartum support. And it's because there are sometimes conflicting schedules like that, right? When you can partner up in that way, it's going to alleviate them. That's what I did when I first started out my business. I connected with a very busy labor doula. She didn't want to do postpartum support. She's like, can you please do it for me? And I was like, yes. And so then I was booked and busy. So that's a great suggestion, that like easiest way to start getting clients. And through that's why we go to the birth worker meetups. That's where you're able to connect with someone, talk about what you do, and share that, hey, I'm available and I'm ready to go. So there's that. And then how this all connects is what Amy and Stephanie were saying about the continuous care, right? We're doing the labor support, then we're doing, and the birth, and then we're doing postpartum doula support. And what I know is going to be happening very soon is that we are going to start seeing the continuous care. And you were talking about it, Amy. If you have a great labor and birth doula, you're going to keep them around. You don't want anybody else coming into your space. If
that's our hope.
Yeah, if they can stay on, they want to keep you. Now, how this can work really efficiently and effective for marketing and networking is that we get them in their pregnancy. And I don't mean get them, but we start to build the connection with them in pregnancy. Because if they really love you, then they're going to hire you out. So something that Lynn and I are exploring is support groups. We have created a free walking group. We're bringing pregnant women and moms together, and we're letting them get to know us. We meet once a month or however many times we want, and it's a connection point. And they have to get to know us in order to hire us as the labor doula, in order to maybe hire us for childbirth education or postpartum support. And what we're also going to start to see in the doula industry is that we're going to see longer, this is going to extend even through the first up to 3 years of the baby's life, because we know that the first year after having a baby, it's the whole year. It's not just 6 weeks or 3 months. So when we think of that in business, what are things we can do? And this is where we start to get creative, because the traditional doula, like ways of being a doula or a birth worker, are shifting because people want continuous care. So this is a really wonderful business model to start. Well, we're planting seeds, we're thinking about it, but what can we do to fill in the gaps that are missing right now? And I do believe a lot of that has to do with community, with education, and providing the support where our village used to be. So that's what I have for you guys today. I love this. Thank you for being here live. Anyone who's watching the replay, I hope you found this really useful and fun. Please send me an email, DM me on Instagram if you want to connect further. I also have, I'm going to send you guys an email about this, but I also have an end of year flash sale going on right now for my Wellness and Business Collective. So if you like the conversation that we had today, if you want to continue it, this happens twice a month inside of the second tier of the Wellness and Business Collective, which is within my Doula Business Club. So we meet like this. It's a very collaborative feeling. It's the same sensation that we're having here today. It's the same thing. We also do trainings, and you also get lots of courses and classes, how to build your own support group, virtual doula framework, how to create Voxer offers. There's a ton of stuff in there, but mostly it's really fun just to come together like this and have conversations that are in this way. So you'll get an email about all that. You can look into it to see if it's something that fits for you. But I really enjoyed meeting you guys today. And again, thanks for being here.
Same. Thanks so much, Melissa.
Have a great day.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.